Hey, what is up? It's Ross Cessna from Spiritual Phoenix Studios in Girard, Ohio, coming to tell you the problem with positivity. And in case you're wondering about this little banner below, this is just a little promo for my weekly live tarot reading show, or you can ask me other questions. Anyhow, the problem with positivity, there's a lot, to be honest. To begin with, life isn't all positive, and if we're only focusing on the positive, we're really neglecting like 80% of the experience, the life experience. The other thing is, if you always have to frame everything in this realm of positive words, you're not really having an honest conversation with yourself. And for the New Age community, which is really big on talking about authenticity and being your true self and all of this stuff, kind of seems a little bit disingenuous and dishonest, and like you're in conflict with yourself. I think another big thing that's a problem with positivity is how egoic that whole concept inherently is. And this is another funny thing. For a set of people that are really intent on quote unquote losing their ego, which their misunderstanding of the ego and the bastardization of it is a whole different topic. But for a fraction of the people who are so focused on losing their ego to then implicitly believe that they have the ability to control reality without any other outside forces impacting it is a little bit misguided at best, I would say. But then when you begin to think that there's no other factors in it besides your own thinking that creates stuff, then you border on delusional in general, which is not looking at how reality works. So there's all these other forces at play in the world besides us. And I think that that's pretty much obvious to anybody. But then to assume that every outside occurrence is based upon our minds, when you really like unpack what people are saying, if they believe that, it gets to be pretty heavy really quick. So if our thoughts create reality, and if only thinking positive things is how we get good results, then I just totally jacked my hair up with that. Then if you really think about it, what you're saying is that and this is going to be a heavy example, so pardon me, but people with mental illness, victims of rape, victims of domestic violence, victims of emotional abuse, all of them brought that upon themselves by their thoughts. That seems a little bit fucked up, to be completely honest. And it also seems wrong and abusive. So we really have to look at that a little bit deeper. And I understand that those are extreme examples, but that macro example is a better way to understand like the microaggression in this whole concept of positive vibes only. And now actually let's get into positive vibes only, because there's nothing more inherently toxic than pretty much saying you're only going to associate with positive people, because then you get in this echo chamber of delusion, where there's no real ability for rational conversations or the ability to process reality in a helpful way. And here's the thing. If we want to grow and mature as a collective consciousness, it's not so much about avoiding the negative things. It's about being able to look at them and have balanced and wise conversations about how to progress. Ostriching ourselves and burying our head in the proverbial positive sand isn't the solution. It's also called spiritual bypassing by a lot of people, and I think that a lot of modern practitioners of this overlook it. Positive vibes only is inherently one of the most toxic things that you can do, and it's an incredibly negative attitude to actually take. And that's the other incredibly funny thing with this whole positivity only thing. It makes all of these other experiences negative, and it sheds a negative light on things that other people are doing. So then it becomes this sense of vibrational shaming where if it doesn't align with what your perception of positivity is, you can cast a layer of doubt. And then it becomes, if these people who are already going through this situation are then going to be blamed and shamed for not thinking right, if they only would have thought better, they could have created a better reality. Isn't that kind of toxic? Isn't that kind of not healthy? Isn't that kind of what we're supposed to be working out against? And then here's the other thing. It's fine if positivity works for you and you want to believe it, that's fine. That's all well and good. But then when people take it upon themselves to reach out to other people and consistently tell them that, you don't want to put that out in the universe, don't say that, don't do this, that's almost like Christian witnessing or something like that, or whoever does the witnessing. That's like doing that where you're trying to spread your religion or your belief structure onto other people. Let me take a sip of my coffee. I've been hovering over it for a little bit. And then we're going to move on to another thing that's somewhat peculiar about it. And when you really unpack it, it should really, I would hope, shift your mindset a little bit. So, if you're only going to focus on the positive and you're very hyper vigilant about only saying positive things, you're then creating a space of fear around everything that isn't in line with that. So effectively, you're creating that which you're supposed to be against. And that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then when you really think about it, the more that you say these positive things, the narrower and narrower your channel gets, or the more and more detached from reality you become to, at some point, especially if you're doing the positive vibes only thing, you're completely isolated from people. Does that sound healthy? Does that sound like a good structure to be in? Because we live in a world where all experiences come up. And I'm not saying that people need to focus on the negative aspects of things or that they need to be constantly down in the doldrums, because I completely agree that that isn't healthy. But if you look at things from a mental health perspective, if you're always down or negative, you're depressed. If you're always up or high, especially to the level of everything's amazing, like, that's actually called mania. And having bipolar disorder and having experienced both depression and mania at times, they can be completely destabilizing. What I think we should learn to do is learn to have honest conversations about how we're actually feeling, and not suppressing how we feel, and not deny the reality that we're seeing, because then if we're facing something where the outcome might not be what we currently want, or rather than just saying sweet little positive things about it, if we have an honest conversation, we can address the issue and begin to make different actions and choices and potentially change the outcome, rather than just magical thinking stuff into existence. And here's the other thing, like, I think is incredibly important for people to understand. I'm a tarot card reader, I'm a practitioner of magic, and not in the sense of what people think magic is, but the actual restructuring and reprogramming your mind. And to use a definition, I want to say Aleister Crowley or somebody said it, and although I don't really follow much of their other work, this has been true to my experience. Magic is the art of conforming reality to your will, and it's not in the sense of law of attraction so much as it is consciously learning to structure things in a healthy way. And part of that, in my personal experience, is the ability to have the difficult conversations and then make the changes based upon that. But again, this is just my perspective. If positive thinking works for you, that's great. But I really do think that as people progress and evolve on their spiritual path, they begin to understand that what they need to have is a non-dualistic approach, where it's not about positivity or negativity, where it's about talking about the experiences that we're encountering and then sharing the wisdom, or like trying to decipher the wisdom from those experiences so we can then use it to have a better viewpoint of reality. So anyhow, there is one last thing. There is a quote that I put up on Instagram, and I put it on the blog post that I did on this topic as well. The blog post has a little bit of different information in it. I just like to kind of talk on these tangents too, because it gives me a different forum to do so. But the objective of positive thinking isn't to only say or think positive things. Positive thinking is about the ability to communicate compassionately and with confidence the difficult truths. And that's me paraphrasing my own quote. But I think that's what we need to shift to. Like, it's fine if you want to call it positive thinking, but don't have it be where you have to narrow your conversation to only positive things. Like, you should be able to think positively about addressing a problem or about addressing a circumstance and not be afraid to actually vocalize it without running it through this filter of linguistic jujitsu. Because I think that might be fine short term, but long term, if you actually encounter any real problems and you built this whole structure of belief up around you, it's going to be really difficult to not go through it without adding all these layers of stress and conflicting belief structures into everything. Simplify yourself. You can express what's going on. Not expressing what you're going on is recorded throughout history as being unhealthy. It's widely known in psychology that it's not healthy. Like, I understand all this stuff of biology of belief and thinking positive, saying positive. If you want to be able to actually have that and not just be saying that, talk about what's going on in you emotionally. Talk about how you really feel and take actions to change those things based upon the honest conversations that you're having. So when you're positive, you're literally feeling it and not just saying it. And that's what I think the biggest issue is. If you want to be authentically positive, have the honest, difficult conversations, but always aren't going to be positive. Anyhow, thanks so much. If you want to check out my other stuff, subscribe to this on YouTube, like my page on Facebook if that's your thing. Check out my blog, spiritualphoenixstudios.com/blog. Let me know what's up. Let me know in the comments below too if what makes sense to you, what didn't, if you think I'm full of shit, whatever. So thanks so much, people. Have a blessed day. Peace.